Hey guys, Bella here, and in this video I want to go over some of the details about joining Fridays. Fridays is a telehealth company that offers compounded GLP-1 medications. If you're not familiar with them, this is basically a way to suppress your appetite. If you have issues with insulin resistance, PCOS, weight loss, anything like that you're trying to accomplish goals that you've been working on, I would definitely look into GLP-1 medications. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the options that you have with Fridays. I'm personally on their compounded GLP-1 plan that you see here. This plan has worked for me for several years, and it has allowed me to maintain my weight loss, but also to go from a weight of 189 pounds down to 143 pounds as of a couple days ago. So with my weight loss, I've definitely struggled lifelong. So let's talk about some of the plans that they offer. So semaglutide is the medicine that I am on. People also opt for tirzepatide. They're pretty similar. They're in similar categories. They also have an option to go with the brand name. Basically, the difference between branded and unbranded is that compounded GLP-1s combine something in order to be sold. So basically, they may have like a vitamin B element or something of that nature. And the dosage that you're going to be on is totally dependent on what you and your doctor discuss. When you sign up for Fridays, you do have an appointment with a physician who talks to you about your options. Personally, I've been on semaglutide and it's worked, but a lot of people prefer tirzepatide. They say that it makes you lose weight faster, so it's just an option. If your insurance pays, obviously you can get brand name Ozempic, Zepbound, and you can go that route. At one point, my insurance did pay for Ozempic, and it was only $25 a month. So one of the reasons why you might want to use telehealth instead of a in-person doctor is honestly just the convenience of it and also just non-judgmental. Fridays really uses a holistic approach to medicine. They're not judgmental. They really understand obesity medicine more than any doctor that I've experienced here, as I live in the rural South, so you can imagine it's not really easy to get any kind of medicine for weight loss. They just kind of judge you. So let's look at some of the options. I want to click start now just to show you what it looks like. So if you're going to start Fridays, basically you'll just come to this page and you'll fill out a couple of options and you'll choose the plan that works for you and you'll set up an appointment. So if you want to do that, you can use code BELLA to get $100 off of your first month. That's just an option. So let's look at the pricing on these GLP-1 plans. Fridays is pretty competitive for pricing. So their compounded GLP-1 plan is $249 a month if you pay month to month. So that is the most expensive it would ever be. They do not go up in price if your medicine dose goes up. A lot of telehealth companies charge you based on the dosage that you're on, but that is not the case for Fridays. Now, if you want to pay for it, a full annual plan, it will be $150 a month. So it just depends on your budget and what you can commit to. I understand that for obvious reasons, you may not want to sign up for that long of a plan. If you do sign up with my code, it'll be $149 for your first month. So that could get you started and see if you can tolerate the meds. So at the compounded Tirzepatide, that's going to be $359 a month-to-month plan, and it will be $259 for your first month if you use my code. So basically, you can opt for any of these options. Obviously, the branded version is extremely expensive if you don't have insurance that is paying for it. Now, let's talk about some of the things that you will get with your membership. So Fridays has unlimited provider visits, meaning that you don't have to pay each time you need to speak to the doctor, which I think is really valuable because there's some issues that come up with being on a GLP-1, like nausea. There could be like vomiting. You could feel like you need extra help. And so you do not have to pay extra to get extra help, which I think is valuable. So in terms of coaching calls, they have weekly support groups. They have mental health counseling, dietitian visits, Zoom workouts, and they have apps like they partner with Sesh Fitness to get you on a workout plan. Personally, I haven't really worked out much. I know that people probably don't want to hear that I lost all this weight without working out, but it is the truth. So that is, kind of some information about the community. They will also work with your insurance. So if your insurance is like, hey, we need all of these prior authorizations and pre-approvals and whatnot, they will work with your insurance to get you covered if they can. So their goal is not necessarily to get you on compounded meds. Their goal is to get you the medication that is best for you. So I really like that because I had issues in the past trying to get prior authorizations and things like that. So they actually have a dedicated team for that. So qualifications for the medication are pretty straightforward. Those who qualify are individuals with overweight BMI over 25 and those who are seeking maintenance therapy that have a BMI of greater than 22. So you can see here some of the details about the BMI requirements to be on Fridays. Honestly, I feel like most of America qualifies as overweight at this point. So, they're pretty much pretty much most people will qualify for it. You do have to be 18, and you can't have any like prior major health problems. I know that if you've had like cancer or you've had some other issues like different types of surgeries, they may not treat you. So just be aware of that. There are limitations when it comes to it. Fridays has also introduced microdosing options. So for people who don't want to be on as high of a dose as a GLP-1, I would check into this if you're someone who thinks, I just kind of want to dip my toes in. I'm not sure if I'm quite ready to commit to the full dose, or you've had issues with being sick on a full dose. These are some of the options that they now have, which I think is pretty cool because there are not a lot of companies doing this. They are honestly pioneers in terms of like what they're able to do. These are some of the people who have had success with Fridays. There's a lot of people who are Fridays advocates like me who tell their story about what they've done, how they've tried to lose weight, and how it's been unsuccessful until they started on a GLP-1. But you can see here there's plenty of frequently asked questions that you can figure out, like what do I need to know before I get started? Personally, I am the type of person who wants to look into things before I feel like I can commit to them. Fridays also just started offering some other options, NAD, B12, Cimarelin. So those are all options as well. There's a lot of different things going on in the community right now, and it's cool to be a part of some of these that are just, kind of taking place early on in the market. So Cimarelin is a synthetic version of a naturally occurring substance that causes the release of growth hormones from the pituitary gland. Growth hormones are naturally produced by the pituitary gland and are necessary for growth in children. So NAD, this tells you a little bit more about that. And then there's MIC B12. MIC-B12 is an injectable supplement that combines vitamin B12 with 3 lipotropic compounds. And then, you can kind of decide what is right for you, but there are a lot of different programs now. Fridays is one of those that I feel like they're pretty fair with their pricing structure. They're not vague at all about what you're going to pay. There aren't any hidden fees or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. I know for me, being on this medicine changed the course of my life forever. Like, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it just genuinely was a point in my life where if I didn't do something, I was going to be obese for the rest of my life and probably develop diabetes, because both of my grandparents had diabetes. And so I was well on the way to, having that kind of life. One thing I think is cool is that they do have a community hub where you can do different weekly sessions. So this is a look at their coaching hub. So you can see here, these are some of the options that they have. This is like the upcoming coaching this week. We've got different coaches, different subjects. We've got support groups. We've got nutrition, therapy. It's basically an all around approach. Like, you can click this tab and it says mindset, movement, nutrition, support groups, so that you don't feel like you're alone. All of these sessions are confidential, so I will never, be able to show you what's inside the session without you attending it personally. But for me, it's something that, like, if you don't have a really strong support system, if you've been trying to do this alone, that definitely is a contributing factor to why people don't have success. Just trying to be completely on your own is really difficult, especially with something like weight loss that is like so deeply personal that you feel like, especially for those of us who have been trying for decades to lose weight, having a support system is really valuable, and that does not cost anything extra. That is literally included in your plan. So I think that that's really cool that they've taken this approach to obesity medicine, and just realizing that it's not just one thing that makes a person overweight. It's a combination of mental health, physical health, and just overall life experiences. A lot of my trauma played into my weight as I ate as a coping mechanism for having like CPTSD. And I think that just by being able to realize some of that it wasn't necessarily my fault that I was overweight, that my overweightness wasn't a measure of like whether or not I was a good person or whether or not I was successful. It was simply just the state that my body was in at any given time. I'll say, after weighing in the other day and being 143 pounds, I just cannot believe the amount of difference that it makes to walk around in this body versus my other body. My other body was really tired. My other body, just did not get me where I wanted to go in terms of just going anywhere, walking upstairs, walking into a building, like sweating constantly because I have so much extra weight on me, pain from having the extra weight on me. And honestly, like, emotional pain was the worst part of it all, because I never felt really good. No matter how successful I was, like, on paper, I knew that if I was fat, I was never going to really feel like I was the best version of me, because being fat honestly like affects your health. It affects your sense of self, your well-being, the clothes you can buy, how people treat you. And it shouldn't be like that. Like, I don't think that that's really right, but that is unfortunately the world that we live in. And so I'm glad I took the steps that I needed to take to start a GLP-1 with Fridays. If you have any questions or anything like that, you can definitely message me or leave a comment on this video. But for now, I'll just say that it is a decision that I did I did it as the last resort. I did it as something where I was like, I have to do something. I cannot keep going like this. I'm having failure after failure after failure with different diets and nothing is working. And so if you're in that boat and you want to change, definitely check into Fridays. I'll have all the links in the description below. You can ask me anything and I'll try my best to answer. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Take care.